Hi everybody. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Today I am going to show you how to completely sew one of these placemats. Now from start to finish, first thing you want to do is you need batting and two different kinds of material if you want a two-sided placemat. So what I have done is I'm using an old blanket that my mother gave us, and I cut it up into these square, or well, not quite squares, but rectangulars, 14 inches by 19 inches. So what I did next was I put the two pieces of material facing each other, and I just pinned it in the corner. So next I'm going to show you stitching her up. So I'll be right back for that when I get the camera adjusted. Okay, I've pre-measured my placemat material and the batting, which will be eventually in the middle. What you do is you take the two pieces of material and you face them towards each other, and then you just lay it on top of your batting. And I pinned each of the four corners just to keep my rows from hopefully puckering up, you know. Alright, now I'm ready to sew, and we're going to start on the bottom right hand corner, and you're going to make sure that you leave enough space to get your hand in there on the side. So we're just going to come around the corner just slightly when we finish up on that side. Alright, let's go. Now you want to keep it right on the edge of the material, so it's going to give you about a half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch into the material. So we come to the corner here. And what I'm going to do is lift up my foot. The needle's in the material still. You lift up your foot and then you put your foot back down after you turn it. That's the simple way to turn the corner. Now we're just going to do the same thing all the way around. Keeping it on the edge of the material. Close to the corner here, so what I'm going to do is I took the needle out, come right up to that corner, make sure your needle's down in the material, lift your foot, turn the corner, put your foot back down, simple as can be. Don't worry if you go off a little bit, you're never going to notice the difference. Okay. Coming up on my last corner, and don't forget to leave enough space to get your hand in. Turn your corner. And like I said, use your hand as a measurement. And you can sew right up to that point. Now I back it up just a little bit You should have a reverse button on your machine. Okay, now we're going to take it off. Now the next step is you want to take your corners and snip them off just like that. You don't want to get too close to your stitching because you want to make sure that the stitching doesn't come apart. But this is going to make it from puckering up in the corners when you go to, you know, reverse it and flip it right side out. Okay, so I'll be right back as soon as I have that ready for you. Okay, I have trimmed all my corners, and I'm also trimming the excess batting around the edges. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you just want to make sure you get any excess. You don't want any bumps. Okay, now you're going to go to your opening, and you're going to open up and put your hand in between the material, not the batting. Just go ahead and put your hand in there, and we're going to flip it right side out. Take a minute to get everything right side out, and then once you get that accomplished, straighten it out a little bit, and you're going to put your hand back in there, and you're going to fix the corners. At this point, what you do is just put your finger in there into the corner and make sure your corner is popped out as far as it's going to be. Do that with all four. And then if you have to, you can iron it another time just to make sure everything's good and flat for when you go to sew the next part. Now, here you're going to have your opening. Basically, you're just going to squeeze that together, tuck that in, and sew that up. First, I want to make sure everything is pretty square. Again, rectangular. Looks good to me. So, I'm going to bring the sewing machine back over here and stitch this end up. And for this part, you can either do it by hand if you feel more comfortable, or really all you have to do is just do a small edge there, right on the edge. You're going to go all the way around, so it's all good. It's all going to match in and everything. Here we go. Okay, after several attempts, I had to rethread my machine, so we should be all set now. So what I did was I put 3 needle or pins in there just to hold my seam so that it doesn't pucker. Now we're going to attempt to try this again, and hopefully it'll work this time. Alright, so you just have it on the edge, put your needle down before you start sewing. And yes, you can go right over those pins and you shouldn't have a problem. Alright, let's try this again. Now we're just going right along that edge, and we're going to do this all around the entire thing. Corner. Oh, I like this thread much better. I put orange on it this time instead of black. I like the orange a lot better. This part here is simply called quilting, and that's all I'm going to do to finish this off is quilt it. And it's so simple. It's only simple if your machine cooperates. Take those pins out so I don't stab myself. And that looks pretty darn good right there, yes. Okay. Alright, we turned our corner, we'll continue on. And I can see that the material was just ever so slightly too short, so I did not get a good seal there, so I'm just going to give it a little extra stitching right there. Okay, next what I did was I ironed it out to flatten it good again. And what I'm doing now is I'm marking my corners 1 inch from the edge of where I last stitched. Okay, and I'm just marking it with a simple piece of chalk. Now you're going to go around and do the same thing on the other side of the corner. And I'm going to do that on all 4 corners, and then we're going to draw a simple line all the way down so that we can make sure that we are getting that 1 inch mark. Again, this does not have to be perfect. No one's ever going to know if it's a tiny bit off, unless they're really inspecting. Okay. Alright. Now, I have this much larger ruler, and I'm just going to use that to trace out my next big line. Basically, you're just gonna sew right down that chalk line, right down the middle of it. Chalk works very good on this sort of thing because it'll wash right off when you're done. Okay, that's it. So I will be back once I sew this up. Now I have this sewn, and I don't know if you can see that very well, but I just sewed right to the corner like this. So this is all free right through here. With the orange thread, you can't see it probably as well as I'd like you to, but the next step is to get your ruler out again and your chalk. And what I'm going to do now is you should have about 15 inches left. So what you're going to do is every 3 inches, you're going to make a mark. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 marks. Also, should have done, which I can still do, is make my marks down here too, so that I have something to go by for a straight line. I'm just gonna flip it over. Match up your lines. You're just going to simply draw another line from the thread to thread that you last sewed. Okay, so now we're ready to sew our vertical lines. And I'll be right back as soon as I'm done with that. Okay, here's the finished product. Yes, you still see the chalk lines because I haven't washed it yet, obviously, but end result, it's beautiful, I think. You know, I only did the horizontals. If you want to go vertical, maybe I would say twice. That would give it that much more extra strength and everything, but quite honestly, that's quite enough right there, I think. And it's perfect. Well, thank you everybody for watching and being patient with me. Take care.